What the weirdest thing you did while you were high? Used my phone torch to find my phone in the dark. Cried after watching the selfie music video from Chainsmokers. One time I came back inside from a back porch smoke and put my lighter in the sink. My reasoning was I'll put it in the dishwasher later. Ordered food for delivery. Forgot. Went to grocery store for stuff to barbecue. Remembered about the food for delivery while paying in line. I thought that, if I became rich, I'd keep all my money in pennies to prevent people from stealing it. Also once tried roasting a hot dog with no stick, just holding the wiener in my hand over an open flame. It did not work. Every time I get stoned, I just want to confine myself to the smallest space possible. It's not a fear or anxiety thing. Stoned me genuinely feels more comfortable under a table or bed, or even inside a cardboard box. This one time, freaked out that I'd lost my iPod somewhere on the way to the train station. I got off the train and went back, retracing my steps all the way back to my apartment. Only to realize that I was listening to music the whole time, on my iPod. The very first time I got high, my lovely friend told me you'll know when you've had enough, so of course I smoked a ton. When I wasn't moving, it felt like time had stopped. I had no idea what was going on. If I moved though, I was completely fine. I ended up dancing to no music by myself as long as I could before I went to sleep. I think I went to sleep anyway. Time wasn't working, I may have just laid there for 8 hours. In no particular order. Asterisk woke up to the remote control for the TV inside of the fridge from the night before. Asterisk let YouTube autoplay for so long that I was eventually watching fire truck drag racing. And everyone's favorite. Asterisk watched hours upon hours of the Yule log TV show with my friends. So much that we knew when the hand was going to come into the scene to move the logs around. I used to go round a friend's every week to watch a particular TV show and get stoned. On about the 4th week my friends started going crazy like he'd had this sudden major epiphany. They've got the same names as us. It had been 4 episodes and neither of us had noticed the 2 main characters had the same names as us. That was proper weird. Edit, so many people trying to guess my name, I'm Rumpelstiltskin y'all. It's not that weird, but I get really weird sensations when I'm high. Other people probably get it too, but I just don't know how to describe it. But one time I was just rubbing my leg a little because I was cold, and my friend was sitting next to me. So then I was like, well, I can feel my hand and I can feel my leg, I wonder if I can feel hers. So I rubbed her leg and was like, wow. I can't feel it, and I didn't really understand why. My friend just laughed at how stupid I was. LMAO. Spent 45 minutes looking for my glasses with my friend. Said fuck it BC, I had to leave and was now running late. When I went to put on my sunglasses I smashed them onto my glasses. I had my glasses on my fucking face the whole time and neither myself or my friend noticed. Completely freaked out because everyone around me was speaking a foreign language and I couldn't understand anything. Note to self, don't get high in a foreign country. I was on acid at a music festival and asked a cop if he would name a hurricane after me. Fortunately he thought that was funny. I set a hot pocket in the microwave and put in my PIN number for the cook time. I ate mushrooms by myself and some guy dropped off pizza at my house, so I signed for it. Only thing is, I didn't order any pizzas. My boyfriend came home and said, you ordered pizza. It had been sitting on the table for hours. I thought I dreamt it. Whoops. The guy came to the very wrong house. Blew on my cereal to cool it down. Standing by the sink, weeping as I tore into the most juicy and delicious whole ripe mango. In my mind I thought it was some sort of alien creature and it was giving its life in exchange for my pleasure. I thought it was the most beautiful, selfless act anything had ever done for me and was overcome by emotion. I must have looked like a goddamn weirdo, but it was still a beautiful moment. Edit, I remember a roommate coming into the kitchen and asking what was wrong because I was crying and whispering thank you to the fruit. The first time I smoked keef was my 21st birthday after already drinking way too much. The fade was so intense that I couldn't walk. My friends put me in my bed, but for some reason I felt the need to not be in my room. So with my non-functioning legs, I crawled on my elbows down the hall and down a staircase to an empty bedroom where I laid on the floor in the dark for 30 minutes. Then I got uncomfortable laying on the ground, so I miraculously regained control of my legs and managed to remove the door to the bedroom to lay on. Pretty solid mattress if you like yours firm. Eating yogurt with a fork in front of my parents. My dad waited for about 10 minutes to say that a spoon might make it easier. I started to get random sensations all over my body. The inside of my left thigh was getting really warm and I had to keep checking every few minutes to see I hadn't pissed myself. One time my eye was really dry, so I stopped drinking my water and started slowly pouring water into my eye, all of it while I was sitting on my friend's bed, leaving just a bit so I could still have one gulp. A few years ago I was on shrooms with some friends and we went on a walk to smoke a cig. Every time I took a puff of my cigarette, I was expecting to taste Mountain Dew and I was disappointed every time that it didn't. I quit smoking cigs a few days after that. I was living on my own in an apartment for the first time, and one of my first investments was a sheet, 100 doses, of acid. I was gobbling them up at an insane rate. Tolerance builds pretty quickly to acid, so by this point I wasn't seeing acid Y things anymore, but I was thinking acid Y thoughts. Like for instance, I wasn't taking trash out because I thought my building would see me hauling out a bunch of trash bags and think, that dude's got a lot of trash. He's a dirty dude. And that then they'd either kick me out or call the police on me, so I opted instead to let the trash pile up around me. I also thought I was going to be a writer for The Simpsons. Anyway, it all came to a head about 2 months into my heavy acid use. In about 8 weeks I had eaten about 80 tabs of acid. I was feeling pretty fried, and I was trying to make myself some pancakes. I had this plate that was covered in pancake batter and I thought, man, fuck this. I gave up, and threw the batter-covered plate into the dishwasher and turned it on. I heard, click click gurgle gurgle gurgle. I walk over to check, and find that I've broken the absolute shit out of my dishwasher, and now there's black water pooling up at the bottom of it. The new paranoid thought was that my building would charge me to replace the dishwasher. I was freaked out, until I had a master stroke of genius. What if, I thought, I just throw away all my dishes? What? Asked the last rational part of my brain, to which acid brain responded, hear me out, here's the plan. Step 1, we throw away the dishes. Then, when the apartment building asks, did you break your dishwasher? I can get real indignant and say, asterisk what? Asterisk break my dishwasher? You fools. I don't even own dishes. And then I threw away all my dishes. That was several years ago, and I still haven't replaced all of them. Went to let the dog out and I walked out instead and left my dog inside. One time years ago I was camping at a campground with my wife and a few friends. We're all sitting around the fire drinking. Her brother and I go for a walk to smoke some joints. We finish that and I have to piss, so he goes back to the group, and when I'm done I head back as well. So I get back and I'm pretty baked at this point and I'm just standing there watching the fire and drinking my beer for a few minutes. I then noticed a particular Coleman lantern on the picnic table and thought to myself, I don't remember us having one of those here. It was at that point that I realized I was standing at the wrong damned campsite, amongst a bunch of people I have never met, while my group was watching from the next site over, laughing and wondering WTF I was doing. Made a cup of tea with cold water and proceeded to put the entire concoction into the microwave. When I discovered that the door wouldn't close because the mug was too big, I tipped a bit of water from the mug and tried again. Back in college, I got super baked with friends. Like almost nonverbal, tunnel vision stoned. We went to this donut place near campus, Ken's Donuts, if anyone is familiar with the UT Austin area. I was staring at the counter full of donuts. I felt like I was standing there for like a minute quietly humming and thinking. Apparently, it was closer to 10 minutes and I was loudly humming the theme song to Jurassic Park over and over again. For some reason we were listening to it on the drive over and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I laughed my ass off multiple times while eating the donuts after the whole standing/humming like a moron thing I was doing. I had a very long conversation by a fire with some guy who was high on something, while I was high on something else. We were in that zone where he really needed someone to listen to him in order to hold it together. To this day I can't tell if he was talking absolute gibberish or I was just hearing gibberish, but I smiled and nodded for a very long time. Edit, thanks for the nice comments. Years ago, before the internet, was having a panic attack while high, wanted to connect with the Ask a Nurse hotline, but couldn't remember the number. Kept calling 411 asking them to connect me to 1-800-NURSE-ME. Bought fresh fish at the wholesale fish market. When you've been partying all night until dawn and you see sober people in action, the fish market is really fascinating. When you wake up the next morning, afternoon, and thirst lets you open the fridge, and you see a load of silvery eels, you cannot really relate to that fascination anymore. Got up to leave my bedroom and knocked on the door before opening it to go out. Got high, ate a bunch of jalapeno poppers, not that weird. No, the weird part was the calendar appointment I made for myself the next morning that just said ha 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 ha. Me apparently predicted the right time for my morning bowel movement, and as those little jalapeno poppers burned again on the way out, he reached out across time and space to laugh at sober me about it. Was hotboxing and used my windshield wipers to try and clear the smoke. I was thinking about how great my friends are and how pretty they are and decided I should talk to myself like that too. So I tried on all these clothes I feel self-conscious in and gave myself a bunch of compliments. Just commented this on another AskReddit post, but one time I was leaving California and was really high going through airport security, and when I was taking off my belt I proceeded to unbutton my pants and almost pulled them down until I caught myself. TSA agent and I shared a good laugh. I remember a while ago I was stoned playing WoW. I was in the middle of Stormwind just holding the W and D key, running in circles for a solid 15 to 20 minutes laughing my ass off. I then somehow thought I discovered a game-changing feature, so I started up a screen recorder and set my mic up and talking absolute nonsense that was completely incoherent. In the middle of one of my sentences after I stopped laughing so much I went hold on, wait, I think I just thought of something else to try out, and I got quiet and my character stopped running in circles. Suddenly, I held the W and a key and started running in the opposite direction. I instantly started laughing my ass off and did that for another 20 minutes. I was fucked up looking for my hotel in Atlantic City. Somehow got there and woke up the next morning to just hotel being in the search bar of my Spotify. That was my best effort. Went to White Castle to get food for everyone after we smoked. We all had the same order, 2 double cheese sliders and an order or mozzarella sticks. When I gave her my order I didn't just say that I wanted 8 double cheese sliders in total, I repeated the 2 double cheese sliders and mozzarella sticks 4 times. By the time I got to the end of my order the cashier sounded so defeated. I still cringe thinking back to that moment, but it's also one of my funniest smoke stories. Set my voicemail message to "I'm so high right now." That's how my entire family learned I smoked weed. I was trying to set my voicemail box up, but gave up.